Yeah. Alright, hello Mike. Yep, you're the first person on. So I guess it's not sent out the notification properly for this one. Because the last few webcam ones I've done, people have been on within about 10 seconds of me starting it. This one it's a minute and you're the first person on. Well, it says free watching, but can't see who the other two people are at the moment. Other people are joining now, so I guess it was the notification was like a minute and a half late today. Thanks YouTube. No, I've not been looking for any multicam topic. Multicam topic. We don't really get multicam in the UK because it's a US camo pattern. We have MTP, but that's a British Army actual issue one. Got a cup of decaf as well for drinking. Keep my throat dry. Not dry. Yeah, so they've been late sending notification out by the sound of it then on this stream, which is typical. I think the worst one was when I was streaming Stranger's Wrath. And it took like 3 to 5 minutes for the notification to actually go out because, you know, there was nobody on it for like 3 or 4 minutes and all of a sudden people joined. No, I don't think so, Blue Blackness. I think it's just some people don't have YouTube accounts. Just like you get views from people who don't have accounts. Same thing. Yeah, that means it's the wrong way around, Alex, but I wouldn't try and put it round the correct way in case when you take it off it, you know, breaks that little seal under it. Yeah, I wouldn't pay £75 for a bit of camo. It's a bit of a rip-off price. All it is slightly greener multicam. Do you mean Bovington Tank Museum? Yeah, the one that's near Weymouth. Yeah, I've been there. Very good. That was years ago I went. Yeah, no worries, Mike. Well, the thing is regarding that thing being upside down, on my one I've put it round the right way. I don't know if it would be a very rare factory error. I think it's just on a batch of them they didn't always put them in the right way, because for the thing to work properly it could be any of the way round because it's a square. As long as, you know, it's the cover's on there, it will work. But I mean, there's nothing really stopping somebody taking a cover off, turning it back upside down and screwing it back on and claiming it came like that, really. Right, hello Justin from South Africa. Hope you're safe there, because I know lots of stuff's getting quite dodgy in South Africa. When you say the SAS smock, do you just mean the British Army windproof smock issue sort of thing? Ah, now that, if you can see, it's a Christmas decoration, because I did actually put it up. You're the first person to spot it. Unless you mean the string there, that's just the crossbow stringer. But yeah, the thing hanging up is a Christmas decoration. It's just, it's higher, most of it, than, you know, it's obviously in the ceiling, so it's out of frame. As far as I understand, the ROU gas mask is designed for like CBRN stuff. It's like a disposable throwaway mask, but designed for actual military use. I wouldn't really recommend opening up a GP5 filter because you're going to need to set up a clean room for it. Yeah, there's only that one in my room. In the front room I put quite a few up, but obviously in my bedroom I don't want them to clutter the place up, so I just put the majority of them in the front room and just put one up in my room, so I've got one in here. But in terms of catapults, you mean like slingshots? I have. I'm going to move my chair back a bit and then I might be a bit more in frame. There we go, that's better. I have 2 slingshots. I have a Barnet, I think it's a Strike 9. I got on with that quite well, but a lot of people don't like those. And I had one that was really crap that I got off of eBay. But yeah, the Barnet one was alright, but it's Most people prefer the Black Widow to that one, but it was alright. No idea. I don't think there'd be too many fake ones, especially if it's cheap surplus when it comes to like old military clothing, because the cost of doing a decent reproduction is probably more expensive than the rip-off. Unless it's like really rare old stuff, nobody's really interested in kind of doing that. I have no idea, because it would depend on what era of Spetsnaz uniform is it. Is it a camo one? Is it like a dress one? I don't know. What are you on about with my old GP5 filters? They're all, yeah, they're all in the cupboard, but they're not going to do anything dodgy, are they, if they're in a cupboard? They're inanimate objects. I'd say, yeah, they should probably be 18 or 16 plus. For, for the tactical pens, yeah. Just because you could do a lot of damage with them. No idea, because I don't have a corrected English mask. Not really. I mean, I don't really think you should age restrict like absolutely everything to the stage of you know what I'm getting at. That's good, Rich. No, I've not heard anything about the government trying to regulate gas masks. Well, there aren't. I'm just saying that, you know, it's one of those things where I wouldn't think it'd necessarily be a bad idea on tactical pens if there was some sort of age restriction. But most of them you buy come from, like, China or something, don't they? So. Right, Nater, I've already said I don't start doing the politics stuff in these streams, so don't keep bringing up Article 13, because it keeps getting spammed in these. Yep, so everybody mentioning Article 13 is getting a warning. It's fine so far, Bullfrog, no problems. Only issue I've had with it slightly at the moment, and this obviously isn't restricted to just this car, is, like, if you put it on, I think this would apply to other cars, if you put it on the recirculate, not the fresh air setting, then you leave the car in the winter, you know, like you get out, you lock it. When you come back, if it's been a cold day, it's properly fogged up on the inside. If you leave the vents open, it's not as bad. I mean, that might just be doing it that way, but the same for a new car, it fogs up a bit more than I'd expect. But other than that, you know. D&B Military is where I get mine from, Raccoon of the Dead, but the laws are changed now. Yeah, it's just in the FAQ, like I said. It's just because people try and derail these streams a lot where they keep bringing up politics, so that's why there's a rule on it. It's just the last time I did a stream, people kept trying to push it with it, so I said, you get a warning first. No, I don't have any Benchmade knives. I wouldn't really spend loads on a knife, though. As I've said before, just because with the UK laws regarding knives, I don't see the point in paying a lot of money for an expensive knife that you can't actually really use. So is it something like what they call like Partisan or SS Lito or something like that, Alex? If so, that's like 30 quid to buy those on eBay. No, no, that's fine. I've not had anything for ages on that. Like I said, when the Novichok thing was in the news and I did a video on it, I got loads and loads and loads of stuff on that one particular video, or one or two particular videos. But after that, it all calmed down again. It was definitely a targeted thing. You can like tell how all the comments were nearly identical. You know, like it'd be people claiming they were completely different people, but they'd have almost like 90% the same message. And you know, when you have like 10 of those to 20 of those in a day, you can actually tell it's the same people making the messages. I don't know why you're asking questions like this, Raccoon of the Dead, but that's a decision you'd have to make for yourself, isn't it? No, I didn't look at Kias. I looked at what was the brand? It's the South Korean ones. Can't remember. Hyundai, is it? Yeah, I think it was a Hyundai. I looked at some Hyundais, but again, like the Sanderos were cheaper than the smaller Hyundais, so Sandero worked out even better. Well, any pen could be a stabbing weapon technically, couldn't it, if you stab somebody with it? I don't actually know. I can't ID serial numbers for you easily. It's pretty much impossible. Certain things use different serial numbers and I don't really care to guess. What mask is it? Because it totally depends on what the mask is as well. You're saying is there glue on it? Or whatever. Is it bad that there's glue on it? No, I guess, yeah, I guessed it was an M1 because you have, where it says 51, that's not going to be 1951, that's going to be model number M51, but which is also the other name for the, or is it the M59 they call it? I can't remember now. If it's not, that would be 1951 if it's not the other date, but like I said. Yeah, I was volunteering earlier. Obviously that I finished that like 1 o'clock sort of time, 12:30, 1 o'clock. Then I haven't done loads else after that. I think I watched some stuff like films or whatever. But must cost a lot of money for 500 kilos of coke. I guess a large smock then if you wear a large shirt. Oh, they're nothing special, as I've said loads of times. It wouldn't be an interesting video. It's just about 2 weeks worth of food in the cupboard. Some of it's canned, some of it's like dry food in packets. Yeah, I've only seen that once, Mike. I ought to watch it again, but I think I'm next going to watch Once Upon a Time in the West. Because I keep meaning to watch that and then keep forgetting it's like nearly 3 hours long. And then I don't have the time to watch it when I've got like, you know, 2 hours to watch a film. Yeah, I think it's all going to kick off, isn't it, this weekend again in France? Well, the M59 and MC1 are almost the same mask. As far as I know, the difference is the MC1 is the M59 without the oral nasal cup in, so it's like a cheaper version of the M59. But they're essentially the same mask. Yeah, I like Clint Eastwood films. Or do you mean, do I like him as a person? But with most actors, I don't like follow their Twitters or whatever, because like what Mike said before quite a few times on here, you don't want to like get too involved on an actor's Twitter, because then when they say something political, it'll turn you off. So, you know, with most actors, I like them for their acting and, you know, the films they're in, not yeah, it'd be good. I was wanting to get a Blu-ray of Waterloo from 1970, but it turns out they've never actually done a Blu-ray release of it, which is annoying. And I, like I said, I wanted to get a Blu-ray of The Terror, and again, they've not done a Blu-ray release of The Terror, which is really stupid. I have no idea. Without seeing a picture of that filter, I don't know. But as said, I'm not going to speculate on filters during the stream because that's really boring for everybody. You know, just saying my filter has these dates or stamps on it, I can't really tell you what the filter is without seeing it. Well, if you're in a range where a knife is practical, then bayonets are very good, you know, efficient knives for stabbing. That's what they're designed for. The thing I've said before, my favourite bayonet is this one. The Swiss Sturmgewehr 57 bayonet. Obviously no edge on this at all, almost an edge at the top, but you can see, you know, how thick that is on the sides in places. It's obviously not a cutting knife, it is purely for thrusting because it's a bayonet. I've got something else of interest behind me I'll show in a moment. Yeah, with pretty much any mask except some of the World War II masks, you know, like the masks themselves are perfectly safe. It's just the filters you have to watch out for. Yeah, that's been going really well, Rich. Speaking of that, because I kept meaning to show this so far in the stream and I've not done it yet because I know some people will be interested in it. It's got like an umbrella kind of bag over it to cover it up, so let me just get this off. I think I did this up a bit too tight last time I put this away, so there we go. Maybe if I looped it through again. So I am going to hang this on the wall at some point. I'll probably hang it around there somewhere, because it would hang up better this way. But yeah, that was that katana some of you told me to order. So I liked it a lot more than I thought I would, so that's good. Yeah, that's the one. If you mean East German like dress uniforms, they were from the 1950s up to the 1980s when East Germany collapsed, or 1991 or whenever it was. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, apparently it was more expensive and reduced, but I can't find anything particularly wrong with it, because I was like looking quite hard, you know, going, oh, what's going to be wrong with it if it's that cheap? But that's pretty good. You know, like the there's a little bit of wobble on a couple of bits of it, but katanas aren't made like proper swords in a sense, if you know what I mean, so you're always going to get a bit of wobble, I'd guess, unless you've got a really expensive one. And mine's just called natural wood, because it's natural wood, it's not coloured. It's got a butterfly design on the thing, if you can see that. Put it on that side of the camera. There we go. And which way does it go back into the sheath? It's that way, isn't it? Scabard even. Yeah, it depends. Yeah, $39.99 isn't very expensive, is it? So. I mean, I think it depends which uniforms he means by that, because I don't know which ones he means. But a lot of the East German like parade uniforms obviously aren't the German World War II ones, because the cut of the fabric's different. Unless he means like some of the early combat uniforms, like were re-dyed. I don't know. No. Are you on about one of their camos? I really don't know. Just slurped the last of my coffee. Well, if you're lucky, you can get a good gas mask filter for probably about £20 or less, in date and everything. But, you know, you might have to pay more for that. It depends really how long's on it, you know, in terms of expiry and everything else. I don't know, like, just some of the places, the, I'm trying to think what they're called, you know, the, places that, like, cut keys, don't some of them sharpen knives? Like, the same ones that cut keys, do watch batteries, do, like, some sort of leather stuff, don't they? But again, they're the sort of thing that have disappeared a lot off the high street. I don't know, because I don't have an MTP Parker, I just have an MTP shirt and trousers. No, it's decaf, I said earlier. So there's a tiny bit of caffeine in it, but... Right, hello Vlad from Romania, alright? Oh, Jimmy, what do I do for work? At work ends I do a cleaning job up in the kitchen. Like a restaurant, cafe kind of thing. I mean, if you phoned up ahead and asked if it was okay to do, then you'd have to just ask, wouldn't you? Got into masks just simply as I said because I got into lots of other military stuff. Like, a lot of this stuff I've answered before, really. And for those people who always get funny about it, this is the last day I'm having this jumper on before I put it out for washing again, because I know some people are like, oh, you've worn the same jumper like in a couple of streams in a row. It must be really dirty. Well, unless I'm doing really physical exercise where wearing the jumper, it's not going to get too sweaty or dirty, is it? So it doesn't. I don't put them out for washing until they need washing. Alright, cheers, Michael. Yeah, that's okay. Euro, if I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, like I said, personally, I'd see if there was, like, yeah, something that did knife sharpening or whatever, but... You've confused me now, Vladimir. I don't think I was replying to you. I was replying to the other guy called Vlad. Because there's another Vlad in the chat if you didn't notice. Unless you're joking, I can't tell on streams because sarcasm doesn't come through chat. Yes, I know, Bullfrog. Loads of books on there. Some of them are manuals, some of them are old books, so nothing interesting. I've done a video before on my more interesting books. No, because I've ever only got them from eBay, so... Like I said, most of mine just come from eBay. No, I've had my falchion custom made for me, but as I was saying earlier in the stream, I don't use knives much other than little practical pocket knives because of our knife laws, there's no point. So, yeah, I'd be willing to spend more and get a sword done like I had done, but not for a knife really. Any of the sites that sell deactivated guns, but you might have to pay well over £1,000 for it. That's the thing. No, I don't have a ham radio. Alright, Atomic Commando. Okay, that's interesting, Vladimir. I didn't actually know that Vlad and Vladimir are actually different. Well, the Oasis artifact is in Jupiter, but you can go back to Jupiter at quite a few points in the game, so as long as you don't do the last mission, you can get it at any point. As far as I'm aware, anyway. Cool, I hope you like the FM12 then. Oh yeah, cheers Mike. Yeah, don't forget to like the stream, everyone. Just waiting for more actual questions to come through now. I didn't know if doing it at this time would have more people watching it or less people, but oh, I played some real bad PS1 games, Bullfrog, so could be one of the PS1 games I played. I'm trying to think though. I had Bubsy 3D or whatever it was called on PS1. That's pretty bad, isn't it? I didn't have Superman 64, but I think that was Nintendo 64, wasn't it? OBS Studio, which is what I'm doing the stream with at the moment as well. No, I've not read the Metro books, but I don't read much fiction at all. I prefer non-fiction. I've got Postal 2, yeah. I've not played the original Postal or Postal 3 or Postal, but I've played Postal 2, yeah. Probably 6 or so years for collecting gas masks, I don't know. That'd be longer than that because it was before I had this YouTube channel, so probably 7 or 8 years, I guess. Alright, that's pretty cool, but like I said, don't mention that because I don't know what the legality of it is, so... I've got Hearts of Iron 4, but I don't play it now. Yeah, there's a couple of good movie games, isn't there? Well, like, all ones that are tied into a franchise, like, Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay was actually quite good. I have a feeling there are a couple of other, like, licensed games I liked as well, but, trying trying to think what they are now. But yeah, in general, licensed games are awful. Yeah, I've recommended it loads of times, Mini B, so obviously I would recommend it for prepping. Although, if you can get an FM12 for the same price, do it. Right, see you if you're off. It depends which generation of Russian and Czech helmets you mean. During a lot of the Cold War, lots of the Warsaw Pact just used Russian equipment, so... You've now just made me aware that I can hear that as well, and I don't actually know. I really don't know what that is. It's not the PC. There's a fridge out there, but that doesn't sound like the fridge. Yeah, you mean Vin Diesel, Bullfrog. It depends. Technically in COP, the best armour is if you get the exoskeleton, get it fully upgraded so you can run in it. Then that's the best armour. But other than that, it depends if you want more anomaly protection or more physical protection. I've heard of Conflict Desert Storm 2, I don't think I've ever played it. When I'm on about Chronicles of Riddick though, Bullfrog, I'm not on about that one, I'm on about Pitch Black, that's the really good one. Anyway, with Chronicles of Riddick, because there was Pitch Black before they spun it off into the Chronicles of Riddick. Yeah, it's like strange and creepy, isn't it, Mike? Where like people randomly appear and it makes no sense. You have to probably buy an actual surplus one for the FM12. Because I've noticed a lot of the modern reproduction water bottles don't actually have the right fittings. This is a space I always did live streams. I've played some of the Spider-Man games on PS1, but I've not played the Spider-Man 2 one. I played the first Spider-Man game on PS2, but Spider-Man 2 was the free roam one, wasn't it? I've played Criminal Origins, but they didn't release Condemned 2 on PC, so I never played it. Yeah, well, at least the SHM41 is technically more valuable than the GP5. eBay, I always recommend for gas masks. No, I quit smoking. I haven't smoked in like a year and a half. Probably over that. Still got one of these, obviously, but I don't actually use the nicotine as much as the CBD in there. I don't know. I'm not massively into all of the different equipment mixing and matching it, so probably not the best person to ask for making an authentic old uniform. Yeah, because the law here is really strange. Airsoft guns are more restricted than actual air guns that have more power. So go figure that law out. I don't know why. Isn't Wheelman that stunt driver game? If I'm thinking of the right one. Yeah, alright, Lieutenant Colonel. But I'm waiting for more interesting questions than that, to be honest. Sorry to hear that, Vladimir, but yeah, like I said, I didn't do it very frequently anyway, but I have quit. But yeah, sucks. I'd probably make some sort of parody horror film, I reckon, if I had to make a movie. I have a Japanese gas mask that's falling apart I did a video on recently. There's not an M4 looking gun behind me. What are you on about? The FOW? That looks nothing like an M4. Well, that's a waste of e-liquid, isn't it? Using that, because e-liquid's a lot more expensive than air freshener or banana oil. I think the numbers are about exactly the same, like about 40 most of the time, high 30s, low 40s. Yeah, I technically finished that bullfrog, but I've never done a video on it, weirdly. What was the suggestion, Atomic Commando? Oh, alright, yeah, I saw that because I replied to it, but... the big knife sword, or like the Kriegsmessers. Yeah, I like them. They're sort of like falchions, aren't they? But they just have the back bit is a knife, technically, not a sword hilt. But, yeah. If people think it looks like I'm asleep, my eyes are actually quite wide open, but for whatever reason, when the webcam's at that angle, when I look at the screen, it really looks like I'm asleep for some reason. I don't know why. Annoyingly, of course, every time I actually sort of put my head down like that, I go out of frame. Like I said, I'm not all that interested in Airsoft, just simply because, you know, like I said, there's not any sites that close to me. I'm not going to sleep, he just ignored what I said. No, I'm sure the quality control on it would actually be better than Fallout 76 Bullfrog, so, you know, there's that. Books or movies? There's The Road, Book of Eli, all the I Am Legend adaptions, although The Last Man on Earth and The Omega Man are the best versions of those. Fred's, that's very post-apocalyptic. No, it's just sort of, I had a camera, because obviously you could film a video using most sort of compact cameras can do a video mode. Even when I first started, it was probably like a really low quality 720p one. It was just talking a bit about stuff that I found interesting, and then obviously over time more and more people started watching it, and I found it an interesting thing to do in my spare time. I've got a lot of pocket knives. What do you mean, like? Do you mean like headaches? I don't really get too bad headaches, if that's what you're on about, Vladimir. Yeah, I've got a Chinese TF1. Can you just search my channel, Alex? Because you're asking lots and lots of these do you have questions without looking, obviously. I really like, speaking of tribal weapons, you know those ones made of volcanic glass that they have in some of the Pacific Islands, I think it is, where they've made like clubs and spears using volcanic glass that have been cut into shape. It's like really strong. I think I've watched a couple of Ahoy's videos, but I didn't really like his style. Well, I wouldn't like to join the UK military, no, berserk, Jason Voorhees. No, certainly not. Probably just a English box respirator or corrected box respirator because it's got the biggest filter. No, I don't have any whips, but I'm sure they're not illegal because of all the people into BDSM. So yeah, that would. Politicians are into that, aren't they? So wouldn't be illegal because they're into it. It depends on the brand totally, Richard. Some are really well made. Like the M4 I've got is quite well made. It's a licensed replica and it's nearly all metal construction, but the bits that would be plastic are plastic. The only complaint I have with mine is the gearbox and some of the wire setup's a bit fiddly, so it can break where a wire will come off. But in terms of build quality, it really depends on the manufacturer and the particular gun. You can get some real crap ones and you can get some really, really good robust ones. Yeah, I bet. Bullfrog. No, I bet you, Alex, I can find you. Let me have a little search. Right. I bet you I can find you one really cheap. Right, I found you one for £12.08. Are you ready? If I can fit this entire URL into a YouTube comment on here. There you go. Look what I found for you. There you go, £12.08. Paint spray military Soviet chemical face gas mask respirator 40mm with filter. There you go. Chinese TF1 in other words. Alright, see you, mini beast. Well, personally, my favourite is the FM12 or like CT12 variant, but yeah, I've heard about that Bullfrog. It's very odd, isn't it? I suppose when you've got that much money to burn. I had an M-Tech knife that had a really bad edge on it when I got it, and then when I tried to sharpen, eventually a bit of the metal chipped off because it obviously hadn't been heat treated very well. But some people really like M-Tech stuff, so I don't know, it might depend really on the individual knife, but by the sound of it, it's also isn't it M-Tech and Miltech? They're different companies, aren't they? Because Miltech do really good stuff, but I think M-Tech is the one that's not as good. So yeah, M-Tech USA is probably the one that generally isn't as good. Right, okay. I don't know why you'd particularly want to watch me when you're wasted, but whatever. Well, you can find anything for stupid prices on eBay. It doesn't mean that people are actually going to buy it. You can list something for whatever price you want. Yeah, alright, I'm just waiting for actual proper questions to come through again, rather than it be people ranting about stuff. Now, you can't really get scammed on eBay unless you're buying something that might be a fake, because all you do is just, if your item doesn't turn up, you do the refund procedure and it's fine. Right, let's type in gas mask into Amazon then and see what the cheapest gas mask is on Amazon. Price low to high. You can get a disposable boiler suit for £2. The cheapest proper gas mask I can see on Amazon is, there's a couple of like throwaway kind of 3M rip-off ones. Then there's one of those cycle masks. But there's not much coming up that's not stuff I already don't have. Pretty much that, Alex. You have to just keep sticking to a style, I think, and keep repeatedly making that on a sort of schedule if you can. So if you're doing one video a week, try and keep it to the same day, I'd guess. There are a couple of other things along with it that I'm trying to think of to recommend, but the thing is with YouTube is you're pretty much down to the mercy of the algorithm, so sometimes you could do whatever you want and you wouldn't become popular, and other people become popular for no reason, it seems. So I can't really tell you the secrets, if you like, because nobody knows except the people, I guess, who've managed to game the system. No, because I'm not very good at woodworking or anything like that. Well, I don't know if it'll be expired, but it'll certainly come with that filter that's too small to actually work on the TF1. Yeah, what I thought of doing as well, Richard, was maybe getting paint stripper and putting paint, like submerging it in paint stripper till everything comes off, and then just oiling it when it comes out of paint stripper. Alright, see ya, Alex. Any particle level 3 filter should be fine for tear gas. Yeah, the brass Zippo's definitely higher quality. The regular ones aren't chrome now, are they? They're just they're nickel. Are they nickel plated? I've already warned people not to bring up Article 13. Yeah, I've got 50k subs now. I'll be going on for another 10 minutes or so of this stream, but yeah, it's okay. It's just, yeah, when I get the same question a few times, it gets a bit irritating. You can tell it's coming up to nearly the hour because I'm starting to get a bit tired of some of the responses. You can use an image site to upload. I don't think I am all that tired. I think it is just literally because this is one of the reasons I switched to the audio streams, because people kept saying this, but it's because you're looking at a bright screen, so your eyes tend to close a bit, because obviously you're looking at a bright screen to try and read text off of it. So yeah, I'm not really all that tired. It's just more, I think, the fact that the webcam is at an angle where you're going to see the top of my eyelids. I'm looking at a bright screen, so I'm squinting a bit anyway. There's not really any point in getting a P1 filter. I would personally never use anything less than P3 because it's still easy enough to breathe through a P3 filter. No point using a P1 or a P2 in my opinion. They probably wouldn't sell directly to you, Berserk Jason Voorhees. Yeah, both of those I got on auctions. CBR and NBC. Do you mean the old film, This Is England? I've seen the old film, This Is England, if you mean that. I thought somebody said there was like a modern TV thing of it as well, but I've not seen that. Generally movies, because I find it really hard to set aside time to read a book. Like, obviously, with lots of adaptations of films, I know that the books are superior to the films, but in general I'm lazy and I like to sit down and just watch a film. How do you manage to sort that out, Bullfrog? I've never seen a feature like that on YouTube. All I've ever seen you be able to do is set it to all can come through, approved only, or all comments are hidden. I've never seen it you be able to set. I mean, that wouldn't be good for me anyway, because obviously I want my videos to get shared more by YouTube, but really don't know on that one, because it would depend what point in my life thing. Yeah, I watched quite a lot of Paul Harrell's videos. His are really informative and good. Which one? It's a Lee Enfield #1 Mark III there, and an L1A1 SLR, AK NFN FAL there. An army surplus store. I really can't. If you're asking for anywhere other than eBay, that's all I can suggest, really, an army surplus store, because I get everything from eBay. So, you know. Cool, yeah, but like I was saying to, I think I've said to other people before, if you've not seen Paul Harrell's channel, that is very good for firearm kind of education sort of stuff, and like talking about accuracy of firearms and what different cartridges can do. I don't know, because I'm not in Ireland, so I wouldn't actually know. Guns are classified into different things, IMC. So, basically, you've got shotguns in one category, rifles in another, some ones that are basically totally banned for civilians, which are called Section 5s, as far as I'm aware. Like, pistols are totally banned, unless they're black powder, or unless they've got this weird kind of, like, stock thing on them, and a long barrel, to the point where they're more like a carbine than a pistol. I find things like the Shamshir swords and older swords like that quite interesting, but I don't think there's been much like domestically made Arab weapons, has there, like recently? Other than like AK variants and things like that, it's generally all purchased from other countries. It depends which comment you meant, Bullfrog. I've not seen a recent one from you. Oh, regular comments are on, always approved, unknowns have to wait a month. I replied to that one, and then I didn't get another one from you. Favourite guns, the L1A1 SLR, the same one that's there. I've watched more Forgotten Weapons than In Range, but I almost consider them the same thing, because it's a lot of the same people involved in them, isn't it? It might be worth it, Mike. It depends. Like, I think something like Red Dead Redemption 2 might get like more people watching on YouTube than Twitch. I don't think it could really hurt your channel, but I don't know. I don't support football at all. Yeah, I've been to loads of countries, and I'm not going to list them all now because the stream's ending in a few minutes. No, that is not a Moss in Nagant, it's a Lee Enfield. Balisongs are technically illegal here, so I can't do any tricks with them. I don't have any preference for gun brands, no, because in the UK I can't buy any of them, so, you know, I can't have a preference. UK rules on Airsoft. The gun has to be under a certain amount of power, and I can't even remember what it is off the top of my head, or it's not classed as an Airsoft gun, and then you could get in a lot of trouble. But when it's an Airsoft gun, it's just basically use common sense. The main problem with the UK Airsoft laws is you need that UCARA thing so you can buy the realistic imitation firearms Airsoft guns rather than ones that are just like the bright orange or pink ones or whatever. I've got a Polish SR1 mask. I do have a big Dorling Kingsley book on firearms, so it's probably the same one I've actually got. But one firearms book I really like, I'll just show you. This is a really good one. I'm not drinking alcohol much currently, but I prefer bitter to lager. No, I don't collect records. Oh, I really like the Colt Python, but obviously I can't own one because I'm in the UK. I've got two Denix replica ones that I've done videos on before. Yeah, it's because that book's two books combined into one. That one. Because I've seen both of those books separately as well. But yeah, this one's like the combined version that's got the pistols in one section and submachine guns and rifles in the other. Or you know, like as you said, pistols and submachine guns, then rifles and machine guns in that other one. Wow, I don't do a full collection video on all my masks because I've got 90 odd, so I only do them as national collections. Maybe MG42 for favourite machine gun, or MG3 I guess because it's in 7.62 NATO. I've never actually had a proper Russian Gorka suit, so I can't say, but I like the concept of them. The like Ukrainian kind of Gorka suit thing I've got is very good for what it is. Right, anyway, that's been almost an hour, so I'm going to finish the stream here. I actually do almost feel like I'm actually getting tired now, but I think it's just because I'm trying to read small text on a bright screen. Well, that's interesting that cats react to me, I guess. So yeah, night mode isn't very good for text because the text isn't high contrast enough against it, so I really struggle to read it. I'm not colourblind, but I find in night mode text is really bad to read. Because if I do a pop out of it now just to try and read it, like the text's white and it's on black background, and that really hurts my eyes looking at that. It's like when you look at those optical illusion things. You know, where you can see it when you look away, you can still see it, because a little bit of black text that's thinner on a white background is much nicer to the eye to sort of white text on a black background. In the UK at the moment it is 3 minutes past 9, as in 9 in the evening. Right, so yeah, thanks for watching everybody. For the most part it's been a good stream, so see ya.